Okay, hi again. So this is the second part of the rocks revision, and I'll fly through this. This is the easier side of it. So, like, we've loads of rocks surrounding us in all parts of the world. What can we use them for, and how do we make money out of them? So, rocks provide us with so much more than you would even think of. So, how do we get the rocks out? Well, we can extract them out, we can mine them out, we can get a digger to dig them out, we can explode it out, we can dig a mine underground. There's loads of ways. We've become very creative as to how we get access to rocks. So rocks provide us with absolutely loads of resources, and some resources we depend on so much. The first thing that rocks provide us with are metal ores. What in the name of God are metal ores? One of them would be iron ore. We know we need iron and steel, don't we? We need them for buildings. We need it for cutlery, loads of different things. So iron ore is actually a rock. It's in rocks, okay? So there's an iron ore quarry. Iron ore, when it's dug out of the quarry and it's sent to the smelters, basically a smelters is a factory where they melt down the iron ore. Okay, they put it under intense heat. They melt down the iron ore into a liquid. So that iron ore rock is melted down into a liquid, and they pour that liquid into molds, as you can see there, like you'd pour something into a cake mold. And basically they leave it cool and harden, and it makes steel. So like we use it to build bridges. So that iron and that steel bridge there in front of you, a very sturdy bridge, as opposed to, we'll say, if you were using just old stone to make a bridge. So iron and steel for bridges. Steel cutlery, now that would be very expensive. Most of us just use like plastic cutlery nearly now at this stage, or a cheaper version of cutlery. Steel foundation, all of our homes. You put steel into the bottom, into the foundation of your home, because you want to build your house on something solid. Steel frame shed. Okay, yeah, you can get concrete blocks and build it up around it, but have a steel frame and it'll be solid. So that's iron. Iron ore is one of the metal ores that rocks provide us with. The second metal ore that rocks provide us with is copper. So copper can be literally mined out of the earth as well. What do we use copper for? We use it to make pipes because it's a great conductor of heat. It brings the pipes into the radiators, or the water, the hot water from our, we'll say, our water tank into our radiators in our homes. Copper wires for the electricians to wire up our homes. All of the wires and cables we have running around our homes have copper inside in them. Great conductor of electricity. Copper coins. A lot of our coins are copper. Think of the 5-cent coins, and I think our 2 and our 1 cent coins are gone now. Copper saucepans, they kind of come in and out of fashion, don't they? Okay, that's so we've got iron, the metal ores that the rocks provide us with. We have iron ore, we have copper, lead. Okay, so what do we use the lead for when we dig it out of the rocks? Lead ammunition, so for bullets, unfortunately. Like the Ukraine, we're begging all the countries around the world, please send us more bullets, we need them for the war. So lead is what makes up the bullets. Batteries, we need batteries for loads of things, okay? And we need batteries for remote controls, for games, for oh my God, Christmas decorations. We need it for electric cars, for God's sake. Now you can make batteries out of other things as well, zinc and stuff, but lead can be used to make batteries. Lead, imagine, is used in paint as well, which is, mad to think of that. So they actually, when it's broken down, they can make it into paint. Lead sheeting. Now when I say lead sheeting, it joins the different parts of the roof in people's homes, and it doesn't allow the water in. Lead piping. Okay, now I think they've outlawed that because lead is not good, lads. Lead can actually be very poisonous after a while to people's health. So they kind of got rid of it out of the pipes. Lead in children's toys. Years ago, when there was very little regulations and rules around children's toys, they painted children's toys all the lovely different colours, and there was lead in the paint. And naturally, what does a toddler do when they're teething? They literally stick the toy straight into the mouth and they're chewing on it. But that was causing poison to a lot of children, so that's outlawed now. Okay, so lead is another one of the metal ores and rocks. And zinc. Zinc has gone very popular nowadays because it wouldn't be very harmful or anything. It's fine. It's one of the grand metal ores. So a zinc mine, we mine it out. Zinc is used in batteries. So a lot of the electric cars now would use zinc. I think there's actually a massive shortage of it in the world actually at the moment. And it's going to be hard to source it to make the batteries for the electric cars. They use it for zinc-coated piping. Think of in a lot of restaurants and making in those kind of food factories and stuff like that. Zinc-coated steel, pipe fittings. Okay, so they're the metal ores. Okay, so the metal ores that we get from rocks are iron ore, copper, lead and zinc. Okay, we also get these from rocks. We get precious metals and stones. If you've a load of money, you can buy gold. Literally, we mine out gold. Okay, you've probably watched loads of gold programs on the TV now at this stage. So we mine out the gold. In lots of parts of Africa, there's lots of people treated as slaves in literally in rivers and in gold quarries, and they're literally digging for gold, and they're mining for gold, and they're sifting for gold in the bottom of rivers. It's dreadful, the working conditions some of them are put under. What do people turn the gold into? They melt it down into gold bars. So the gold, okay, instead of me having €1,000,000 in the bank, I could say I'm going to take that €1,000,000 and I'm going to buy a gold bar. Okay, so that signifies my wealth. I can trade that in and get my money back. Gold jewellery. Some people love wearing gold jewellery. Gold is used to make gates, okay, for palaces, and people are extremely wealthy. Gold medals. Maybe you've won one before. Okay, so gold is one of the precious metals, okay, that the rocks provide us with. Silver is also another one of the precious metals that the rocks provide us with. So they literally dig the silver out of a mine as well. Some people like silver jewellery, silver plated cutlery, that would be expensive. Silver coins, we have them, don't we? Silver medals. Silverware if you're the queen and you're hosting a tea party. So there's good value with those precious metals. Diamonds, of course, are extremely valuable. So diamonds would be one of the precious diamonds and precious metals or precious resources that we get out of rocks. So if the rock has been given a long period of time to cool down, the diamonds might form inside in it. For diamonds, you just dig down into the land, dig down into the rock, and you find them present inside in the rock. Okay, so diamond mine in Canada, or often the diamonds can be at the bottom of river valleys as well, and they get pans, and they literally scoop up from the bottom of the river, from the bed of the riverbed, and they literally sift out the water. It's like sieving out the water, and they check to see are there any diamonds present in the rocks. So they take those diamonds, they're rough now when they take them. They take them into a factory, they polish them up, and they put them into a ring or chains or earrings or whatever. Okay, so we have gold, we have silver, we have diamonds. Right, they're all the precious and the valuable stuff that we get out of rocks. Building materials, stone. Okay, so rocks, we break it down and we get stone. So we use it to make a stone fireplace, a stone bridge, a stone wall, stone piers. So that's when we break down rock in a quarry into different bits of stone. Okay, that's fine, that's cheap, that's accessible for us all. If we break rock down to a fine particle, we have sand. What do we use sand for? Well, if we're building houses, building any buildings, we need sand to make cement. Remember earlier we were saying we add the lime in to make the cement. Sand is very important as well. It gives it that good solid consistency. Okay, so the cement gluing all those blocks together. So we have stone, we have sand, we have gravel. Okay, we have gravel yards. Okay, so precious metals and stones. We have gold, silver, diamonds. We have stone, sand, gravel. So rocks provide us with absolutely loads. Now, I suppose one of the most important things, and we're seeing that at the moment, that rocks provide us with are energy sources. So you're talking oil, gas, things like that. Okay, so you've uranium. So uranium is a rock, and it's actually very cheap to buy it. And if you don't know anything about uranium, the easiest way I can sum this up is uranium makes nuclear power. Okay, so uranium is rock, it's quarried out, and it's really, really cheap to buy it. So you quarry the uranium rock out of the ground, you bring it to the factory, you burn it basically, and you are converting it into nuclear power. The heat and the energy off of it converts to nuclear power. It's really cheap to buy it, so that's the positive. The problem with it, the leftover bit of uranium that you're left with, is waste. That's radioactive. It's toxic. Okay, at the moment they don't know what to do with it. They can't come up with anything that they can use the radioactive waste for. So they basically store it in huge containers. And if anything were to explode or anything, it can kill people and it can cause extremely bad health problems. So think of Chernobyl in the past and things like that. That's why some countries don't like nuclear power plants. Okay, but it might be the way we have to go in the future. They're even kind of throwing the idea around there in the Irish government recently. Will we, won't we? Because we can buy in the uranium for cheap. The good thing about the uranium when they're making it is it doesn't release any harmful fossil, we'll say, emissions in the air. There's no emissions, but it's the radioactive waste, and how do you deal with it and how do you mind it? Now, the other thing that uranium is used to make apart from nuclear power is nuclear weapons. And we see like Putin there at the moment threatening us all with nuclear war. He's loads of nuclear weapons. And I mean, if someone lands a nuclear weapon into an area, it just absolutely wipes out people. It will kill you immediately. Okay, so that's one of the energy sources that we can get out of rocks, uranium. Oil, we so depend on that. So you dig down for oil on the land or you dig out in the seabed. Mostly it's out in the seabed, in the rocks, under the sea. But you have oil on land as well. Okay, so you have the two different versions. We use it for home heating oil. We use it for fueling our planes. We use it for our trucks. We use it for our cars. So we massively depend on oil. We massively depend on Russia for getting our oil, and we're seeing the problems of that now. So, we really need to move away from our dependency on oil. What do we use the oil for as well? We use it to power up our power stations. Okay, so the power stations burn the oil to create electricity to power up our homes. So we might not have electricity to plug our sockets to charge we'll say our phone charger, and we also mightn't have any home heating oil to warm up our radiators. So if we don't move away from oil, we really will be in trouble. Okay, natural gas. Gas comes out of rocks as well. So oil is stored in rocks and gas is stored in rocks. So gas rig, they literally drill down into the seabed. Gas is just stored in the rocks and they pipe it out, bring it onto the land. Gas is piped to people's homes, use it for the gas cooker, maybe for a gas heater. Or we actually now in Ireland, we heavily depend on gas for powering up our power plants. So they burn the gas in the power plants all across Ireland, and that forms electricity, and the electricity powers up our homes. So again, where do we get our gas from? We get a lot of it from Russia. So that's concerning. We have our own gas plant, which is the Corrib gas field. You can see it there up on the map of Ireland off the coast of Mayo. The Kinsale gas field we used for years. That's run out, closed up. The Corrib gas field will only last us another few years and we don't get that much gas out of it. So we're really going to have to switch to renewable energy. Coal would be the other energy source as well. So coal is just decaying vegetation. Okay, it's solidified into solid rock. They mine down for coal. It's very dirty fuel. It really gives off very harmful emissions out in the air. Traditionally, for years, our power plants were creating electricity by burning coal. We're really trying to move away from that now. But coal gives off excellent heat, so it makes iron and steel. It really not makes iron and steel, but it smelts down the iron ore because it burns it to such a high temperature down into the iron and steel. So I think they're all the energy resources. So the energy resources rocks gives us are oil, gas, coal, and uranium. So lads, I think you've kind of learned a load about rocks there. Rocks give us iron ores. They give us zinc. They give us copper. They give us precious metals and diamonds. They give us zinc. They give us lead. They give us silver and gold. They give us stone, gravel. They give us uranium, oil, gas. They give us absolutely loads. So who'd have known rocks could be so valuable? We can get out rocks out of the land in loads of different ways, and I'll try to go through these quickly. We either mine it out or extract it out, dig it out. So if it's oil or gas, we drill down into the rock and we pipe it out. Okay? So we either do that out in the sea or in the land. So there's basically down in the rock underneath us, there's like storage areas inside in the rock. Rocks are they're like storage rooms, huge quantities of oil and gas, and we literally drill that out of it, okay? So we use that for our homes, our cars, our industries, our factories. Drilling for oil and gas can be a bad thing because if there's an oil spill out in the water, it can kill the wildlife and the sea life. When you're actually drilling the oil and the gas out of the rocks, it releases fumes as well, fossil fuels, so that's harmful for the environment. So you've loads of different problems associated with, environmentally. It's bad for the environment. Economically, drilling for oil and gas, it does create a lot of money. Like the Corrib gas field I was talking to you about off the coast of Mayo, where we have our own gas, that they invested 4.3 billion. Now, if they invested that much money to setting up a gas field, how much are they actually making? They must be making multiple times that. Okay? And now it's meant to supply us with gas for up to 20 years. And they estimate that we won't get that long out of it at all. It does, at the moment, give us 60% of our gas needs. And that still leaves us 40% short. And at the moment, we've nothing to replace that when the Corrib runs out. Okay, but economically, it creates a lot of money for the companies involved in it that are selling the gas, and it creates a lot of jobs, and those jobs are earning wages. So that's good. Okay, other economic impacts of Corrib gas field for the Mayo region, like I said, creating jobs, spin off effect on the restaurants, etc. So that's one thing we can do. We can drill the oil and gas out. If it's rock, sand, or gravel or other minerals, we quarry it out of the ground. So many of you are probably living near a quarry. So quarrying can also be called open cast mining. So we see it on the surface. You're basically, digging. You're digging down into the rock. You extract them out. Environmentally, there's a lot of dust associated with quarrying. So that's a lot of air pollution, not good for anyone living nearby. Sometimes they have to explode the rock out if it's very hard. So that's very noisy for animals living nearby, or for any wildlife, for any people living nearby. Economically, it's creating jobs. It's creating money, wages. So that's good. They estimate that in Ireland there's about 10,000 people working in quarrying. So that's 10,000 wages. That's a lot. Okay, that depends on it. So that's good, I suppose. Irish quarries produce around 35 million tonnes of rock sand every year. That's rock and sand that's needed for the building industry. So that's important. So quarrying and mining in Ireland is worth 1 billion to the Irish economy. So that's a lot of money. We depend on it. So there's a lot of money in the quarrying. Shaft mining. We have a bit of mining as well in Ireland. That's where the rock is down deep in the earth's crust and you have to dig down for it. So you're basically drilling down and you're creating a mine underground for the coal, for access to lead, for access to zinc. Okay, so it's quite dangerous conditions for workers because they're working underground and you're worried about the whole mine collapsing. Is it structurally safe? You want to be trusting the engineers, make sure that they built that solid. And the air pollution down there would be desperate as well. So environmentally, you can see there now that the mine that had been underground, the overlying rock has just totally caved in and collapsed. So environmentally, that's not good. Okay, large amounts of dust, breathing problems for them working in the mines. Economically, though, it creates a lot of money. Like we have a mine in Ireland, that's our biggest mine actually. The Tara lead and zinc mine, it's in County Meath. So they have located in County Meath a mine that has lead and zinc, and from earlier, lead is used in making batteries and paint, and so is zinc. It's used for batteries as well, and we need batteries for everything nearly nowadays, and especially for electric cars. So Tara Mines in County Meath employs 730 people. So without that, we'd be in trouble. It's a big plus for the town in County Meath. Okay, so 38 million that mining company pays in taxes annually. So that 38 million is being reinvested back into schools and roads and hospitals, etc. Okay, anything else important there? No, that's everything. I hope that helps.